All right, Ima, we are doing speaking today, and as I mentioned yesterday, we're starting with you. And as I also mentioned earlier on, now we are not focusing simply on elaboration of your response, but we'll also be, looking to fine tune it, right? And so grammatical accuracy and fluency, and as we improve, I'll just be nitpicking, right? So looking at the major areas of improvement to begin with, and pronunciation and flow and all of that. And as we improve, right, we'll start nitpicking to get better and better until we reach a point where we're all good. And again, I would direct you towards YouTube channels, particularly IELTS Advantage, which I shared with you earlier on in, I believe, August, right? So watching that will really help, uh, especially the band 9 responses, and also the comparative videos where they're comparing a response that would be band 6 or 7 versus band 8 or 9, and so how the response types differ. Also, to improve your speaking, record yourself and hear yourself, right? So record yourself speaking. These assessment papers are available on my Google Drive. You have the link for that, so you can open up any of these, right? It will be different for pre 2024, so right, the question types are different, but nonetheless you can still try them out and try speaking on those topics, and record yourself and then re-listen to yourself, and that will help you pick out your own mistakes, your own flaws, your own shortcomings or weaknesses, and improve on them. So you can try the same speaking. It's not about memorizing your responses. Don't try to memorize a response, right? Because you don't know what question is going to show up, and so if you're going in with a memorized response, it is highly likely that you're going to fumble, right? And we don't want that. Also, to make your responses more natural, do some light reading, right, on general knowledge, general information, right? GQ as it's called, or GK, sorry, not GQ, GK, right? So general knowledge stuff about energy and activities and libraries and conservation, environment and traveling and sport and food and stuff like the kind of questions that show up in the speaking assessments. Just do some light reading, get some information on these topics, right? And so when you are presented with a question, you can use that to build up your response. Okay, so all of that is something that goes to you, right? It's not something I can help you do. I can help you with this uh, practice for the actual assessment. And so Ima, we are beginning, and we will start with,
Sir,
yeah.
aren't we done with this one? The food one?
uh, I believe we've done. Right, no, this is, it might look similar, but it's not, right? So the ones I've done so far are from the specimen, and this is from March 2024. So it's not the same,
Okay. Okay, I thought it was.
right? If you do enough of these, they start looking similar, because there is there is sometimes an overlap in the questions, right? Similarity, but not exactly the same, I would say. Okay, so warm up, and right, so right now I'm not timing you. So we're still not in the final stage of our preparations. Keep that in mind, right? Right now I'm focusing on improving. Right, the last stage would be timing. So Ima, warm up questions. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food is this desi food called biryani. It's basically a dish, a rice dish, where there is a lot of different flavors. There are a lot of different types of biryani. In my country is Pakistan. I live in Pakistan, and over there you can get a lot of varieties of biryani. There are also fish biryani, the chicken biryani, mutton biryani, lamb biryani. But what I enjoy the most is chicken biryani. My mom, the way she makes it, I like my mom's hand.
Okay, you like your mom's cooking.
Yeah.
Okay, not her hand,
Yeah.
right?
Sorry, sir, can you hear the traffic actually? I'm
I,
over here in the balcony, so
I,
you might
yeah,
hear it.
yeah, I can hear it. It's not too disturbing, so I will carry on. Okay, what do you and your family enjoy doing together?
We enjoy walking together at morning. We all wake up at the same time at like 6 a.m. in the morning. Just for the fresh day start, we all go on a walk, sometimes in a park or sometimes in our street. Just for like 5 or 3 minutes, we walk and we talk about whole day, how are we plan to spend the whole day. So we enjoy that time the most.
Okay, so I'd like to highlight over here the use of your prepositions. You said you like to go for a walk on the morning, and so it's not on the morning, it's in the morning,
In the morning, yeah.
right? And I think you said
Okay.
at the street, it's not at the street, we go for a walk in the streets,
On the oh,
right? Uh, so, right, whether it's in the street or on the street, it depends on what you're talking about, right? So, uh, right, the use of your prepositions will obviously make a difference as to the clarity and accuracy. So just try to think when you're speaking. I know that when you're speaking, if you are in a habit of conversing in English, uh, it just comes naturally and you're not thinking about it too much. But when you're preparing for the assessment, try to be attentive to what you're saying, and you don't need to be fast. Like, if you've noticed, I'm speaking rather slowly at the moment, and that's because, right, contrary to how I would normally be, I'm actually thinking about the words I want to use, right?
so
So
that's the point that when I'm thinking about the words, I come in a rush. I don't go very slow. I always start rushing.
that's odd
I want to
because,
make my point clear
yeah,
at a
so
very less time.
right, nee,
This is something.
right, no, so again, right, you want to practice that. So you want to be clear, you want to be accurate, but you also, right, and so if you're rushing, you're not helping yourself, because if you're speaking too fast, your brain won't be able to process everything quickly enough for you to speak correctly. So you need to practice to
Oh,
slow down, right? Not slowing down to a crawl, but slow down sufficiently that you give enough information in the time that you have, right? While thinking about what you actually want to say, the words that you want to use, right? So what you meant, right, described about your, situation is rather contrary to how it normally happens. Okay, so just
so
try.
actually, when someone is judging me or like when someone is listening to what I'm speaking, I go very rush. Like I
Yeah,
can't stop.
yeah, so work on your frame of mind, right? Don't think about that, right? Just think that you are speaking. Forget about the judging part, because you'll have to do that, right? Despite the fact that the speaking assessment does not count towards your letter grade in 0500, right? So it will be given as a separate grade, but it is showing up on your result, right? So you'll have, for example, A, right? And then you'll have numbers. So, right, our aim is to have the number one, all right? Our aim
Okay.
is to have the number one, which is, the best number we can have. Two also works, but, right, again, that's a fallback. We don't want it going lower than two, right? Two is also decent, right? That means you're in the 80th percentile, you could say. Okay, third question for warm up. What would you like to do during your next holiday?
On my next holiday, I would like to go on a beach. I've been to the beach for like 2 days in my previous holiday, and we really enjoyed there. We actually don't go as a one family. We go as a joint family with my uncle, with my auntie, and my grandma, all of them. So we enjoy there a lot. My cousins, all the family is there. So we enjoy there. And for my next vacation, I'm planning to go there with my family.
Okay, so again, prepositions is something I would want to highlight. You said we go on a beach. You don't go on a beach, you go to a beach,
And I to a beach. Oh my God.
right? And there was another one that you mistook. So, right, obviously the recording will be available after class, and so you can re-listen to yourself forward and just listen to your responses, and hopefully you'll pick out those, right? So prepositions is one thing that need to work on. Okay,
Yeah.
so the first assessed part is the interview, and right, the questions about our homes. So say as much as you can for each question. Okay.
Okay.
So can you tell me something about the house or apartment where you live?
I live in an apartment. It's a big apartment, and we are having a lot of neighbors. There are 7 floors in this apartment, and I live on I live on the fourth floor. There are a lot of neighbors. My uncle and my auntie are my neighbors. So, and my apartment is in within the city, in the center of the city. So it's very easy for me to go for like any market. Just it's like in walking distance. I can go whenever I want at any time because I don't really have to go through any vehicle. It's on a walking distance. So yeah,
Okay,
that was it.
so apart from the prepositions, like you said the end, I don't have to go through any vehicle. You don't go through a vehicle, you right go buy a
I have
vehicle, buy a vehicle, right? So you already know what the correct usage is, right? Again, so you just
yeah, but
so you're just
in the
getting
time,
flustered. You're just getting flustered. Don't like
yeah.
just relax, okay? Even if I was actually giving you marks, it doesn't matter. Right? Stop thinking about marks. Just focus on speaking clearly and accurately. Okay?
Okay, I will
And
try.
yeah, and especially the fact that you know what the correct preposition should be.
Yeah,
Okay? And right, so you said your apartment has 7 floors. I'm pretty sure your apartment is not having 7 floors. It's
yeah.
your
I'm just making
no,
up.
no, 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 no. It's your apartment building.
Yeah, my building. Okay,
It's
okay.
yeah, it's your building that has 7 floors, not the apartment, right? You live in an apartment on the fourth floor, and you have a lot of neighbors, right, including your aunt and uncle, right? So they live in the same building, perhaps on the same floor, I don't know. Okay, so just some corrections over there. Okay, and then you sort of strayed off talking about the area that you live in, right? So you can say a lot, right? So you can say there are, for example, 3 apartments on each floor. They are spacious, right? Each apartment has a balcony, 2 balconies, looking onto the main road, and it has a beautiful view. And there are, for example, 3 bedrooms with attached washrooms, and there's a large living area and an open kitchen and a separate drawing room for guests. The dining table is set in the living room, right? We and it is airy, so there's good ventilation. If you want, we can open the windows, and it's very sunny, so we pull aside the curtains, and during the daytime it's nice and lit up. And so you understand, right? Now you are deciding, right? And the fact that you are sitting in your balcony right now taking your class, and you can mention that it's a
Sir, I
nice.
can't hear you properly.
Yeah, that's probably because the static coming from, the background noise coming from Aima's side. Aima, if you could.
Wait, so
Yeah,
yeah.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Right, and so you mentioned that your balcony is spacious enough that you know like to sit over there and study. So you set up your laptop and all your other books and everything, and it's nice and windy and airy and it's fresh and you've got some plants over there. And so you try and focus on your apartment, right? You can stray off to talk about the surroundings if at the time of your response you sort of feel stuck, right? Oh, I can't think of anything, so what do I do? Okay, I'll talk about, there's a shop nearby, there's a park nearby, there's a gym, etc., etc., right? And I like to go to walk, right? I walk nearby, it's easy. And so, right, that's like a scenario where you don't you're not able to come up with more ideas to talk about your apartment or your house or your building. And so, right, you take the conversation elsewhere. All right. So next question, I'm can you tell me about a time when you visited somebody's home and what you did?
I visited my uncle's home few weeks ago. They invited us for a dinner, family dinner. So we went there. We had the dinner, we had the dessert, and we played with their children, and we talked, and we also watched a movie with their children.
Okay,
That's about it.
would you like to elaborate?
Sir, by the way, I'm so horrible at this. How am I going to do it?
You're not
Hmm.
horrible. What makes you think you're horrible?
Sir, I don't know how to speak. I don't know what to speak about. Like, I told you everything that I did.
Okay,
I don't have anything
right.
else.
So here's one thing, right? Here's a good thing. The examiner will help you out. Either they will quietly motion you to give more information, because that's the feedback I got from my students who appeared this May, June, right? And when they had their speaking assessment in April, they told me that the examiners were helpful and they sort of signaled us to keep going, right? And so if the examiner feels that there's not enough information in your response, they'll tell you that. Or they'll ask you a follow-up question. So for example, right, I can ask you, can you tell me can you tell me about the movie you watched?
Okay, to clear the point. Okay.
Right? And so that will give you something more to talk about. So I'm asking you, can you tell me more about the movie you watched?
We watched Animal Planet all together. It was a fun movie. Sir, I don't know. I seriously don't know what to speak.
Animal Planet is not a movie, it's a channel.
Really? Oh my god.
I mean, unless there is a movie called Animal Planet, I'm not aware of, right? Animal Planet,
Sir, we didn't even watch a movie.
I mean, you can do that, fine, right? Again, right? So your factual accuracy is not something that's being tested. You could very well say that it was a movie or a documentary. I'm just saying, right, that perhaps it was the channel Animal Planet, just like there's Discovery and National Geographic, right? So, right, okay, fine. You watched the movie Animal Planet. What was it about? Right?
It was about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
don't say it was about animals. What was it about?
Like, I don't know if there is a movie.
Doesn't matter. Make something up. What was it about?
It was about animals, since it's called Animal Planet.
Okay, have you seen the animated film Zootopia?
Yeah, I mean, no, I haven't, but I have watched the trailer, so I know what's it
Right.
about.
So Zootopia 2 is coming. I don't know if it's released yet or not. Right.
It released.
Okay. I knew it was going to be released soon. So if it's already there, and so right, what is Zootopia about? It's not about a zoo, right? It's about a city that in which animals live, and it's about the lives of those animals and stuff. So if you're looking at Animal Planet, you can turn it into a nature documentary about the different animals living in the Amazon jungle, for example, or the Sahara Desert, or we could turn it into, for example, a live action movie in which, right, there's a new movie that's coming out by Disney. I forget what they've named it, but it's about a human girl whose brain gets transferred into the beaver, I think.
Sir, I can't hear you again.
Yeah, if you could, yeah,
I'm gonna mute myself. Wait.
yeah. Right, so that movie is about a human girl whose brain is transferred to a beaver, and so right, she becomes a beaver, so to speak, and then she lives among the animals and all of that, whatever the story is. Right, it could be an animated movie, it could be a real movie along those lines, right? People being changed into animals, or people living among animals, like, Mowgli from Jungle Book, or Tarzan, right, living with the apes and everything. So, right, since you mentioned Animal Planet, I'm just like the creativity of just thinking about it. So I'm giving you options about how you can take this. Okay.
So when I'm having a conversation with a person in real life, everything is going good. But whenever someone's judging me, I mess up
Again,
every
right,
time.
so you need to work on your mind, right? You need to work on your mind and not think that you're being judged. Think that this is a conversation, even though it's not, right? The examiner will not be talking to you like I talk to you,
Yeah, of course.
right? And so it won't be a conversation, but you need to put yourself in that mental frame to be able to do well. Okay.
So, Mashallah, you speak so well. Do you have any tips? Like, should I start speaking English in like normal life?
Yes.
I don't speak my own language
I
because
mean,
going like this.
assuming that there are people who will respond to you,
Yeah, my family
right?
will.
Right. I mean, you're living in Saudi Arabia and you go out and you ask someone and you're like, "Yalla, habibi."
No, no, no. It's not like that.
Okay.
Okay, I will.
So yeah. So if that's not, if that's not going to happen, then yes, right? Speak and like have everyday conversations in English. It's only part of your practice. Okay.
Yeah,
And
I
again,
will
record
try.
yourself and everything, read, etc., etc. Everything I've already mentioned.
Also, sir, you recommended us this channel, IELTS Advantage, if I'm not
Yes,
wrong, the name
yes,
was.
yes,
And over there, actually, I thought that this examination is quite similar to the IELTS. Is it?
yes. It
Or is
is.
it like completely different?
It is quite similar.
Oh, my friend told me that it's so different, so that's why I
Perhaps,
was
perhaps the question
asking.
itself that is asked is different, right? And the topic of the question would be different, but the approach and the overall pattern is very, very similar.
Alright, okay.
Okay. Okay. Do you think that houses people live in will look the same in 100 years' time? Now understand the question properly. Okay. Do you think that houses that people live in will look the same in 100 years' time? Why or why not? I'm going to ask you, what do you think this question is asking?
This question is asking if the houses or the buildings would look the same after 100 years.
What do they mean by, like, what do you mean by the buildings will look the same? Meaning, the paint will be peeling off and there'll be cracks and
The
stuff.
paint, the paint, the architecture, the design,
Okay, good.
the
So
material.
so so we're talking about, right, the architecture of houses and the designs and everything, right? So there won't be these rectangular boxes anymore, perhaps. Okay.
Okay.
We're not talking about, oh, I haven't painted the house in 5 years, so I want to paint it now. And so a building that has not been painted for 100 years is going to look very shabby. That's not what they're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So yes, do you think that the houses people live in will look the same in 100 years' time? Why or why not?
I don't think so because the design, the architecture changes frequently after what I think after every 10 years. It changes, and right now the world is adapting AI and new materials, new things. So I don't really think so. It will look the same. This is my response.
Again, you need to elaborate, right? So what you can do is
I don't know how to elaborate.
you can say that if you take a look at the architecture from 100 years ago, right, from today, so today is 2025, so if you take a look at the kinds of buildings and houses there were in 1925 and compare them to the houses we have today, we can see that they are very different.
Yeah, the vast change, yes.
They are very different, and so we can only assume, right, that in 100 years time the houses will be different from what they are today, right? The climate is changing, technology is changing, techniques are changing, and so when all of that is put into application, you're going to, right, perhaps they'll still be rectangular, but they will be, the material will be different, the technique, the build, the, the lighting and the ventilation and all the systems will be different, perhaps.
Sir,
Yes.
so sorry to interrupt you, but my next class is starting in few minutes.
Why?
I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Or maybe I can join late. It's
I would prefer that, obviously.
yeah, okay. I will join late.
All right. Now, next up is the short talk where you get a minute to think about this. And so you can see the question on screen, right? For this part, you will obviously be provided with the card during the exam, and you can see that it's about learning a new skill, right? So you've decided to learn something new this year. You are considering the following options: learning a new language or learning to play a new sport. Explain how easy or difficult these options would be for you. Say which option you would prefer and why. So you have a minute to think about it. You can mute your mic, and when you're ready, let me know.
Okay, sir. I would pick learning new sports because I'm far better in learning new sports rather than language. Because what I believe, if you are learning any new language, you have to have a conversation with a person who is fluent in that language. Like, for example, for my parents, if I would look to them for practice or have a conversation, they only know two languages, and I know those two languages as well. Same goes for my friends, so I can't really look forward to any of them for practicing. And whenever I'm learning a new language, obviously, whenever any person is learning new language, they will face a lot of difficulty. So for that, you have to have a practice conversation with a person. So I can't really do that. But for sports, I really like sports, and I'm really willing to work hard in sports. My friends, I can practice sports with my friends because my friends, all of my friends know pretty much all the sports. And actually, sports is a fun activity for me rather than learning new language.
Okay.
That's it.
Right. So that was rather short again, right? So you're struggling with the elaboration.
Yes.
And uh, what you could say,
Thanks.
if yeah, yes, thank you. So what you could say is learning a language is difficult also because, right, there's a lot of technical detail. There's the vocabulary and then the grammar and the way sentences are made and the dialect and the pronunciation and the colloquial meanings and then the slang and all of that. And so, right, it becomes overwhelming. It takes a lot of time. You could say it takes a lot of time in learning a new language, whereas you generally think, so you would say, I think that learning a new sport is easier. Of course, becoming good at it would take time, but I find it easier because I generally like sports overall, and I, my friends do as well. So for me, that would be the option I would prefer. So you see how I spread that out,
Yes, sir.
right? And you could perhaps mention a sport, right? For example, you're learning badminton or checkers or some board game. It's not exactly a sport, so let's not go there. They're board games. You could,
Football, basketball, tennis.
yeah, paddle, squash, table tennis. I don't know, right? Something else, some sport that is not widely known, perhaps, and you know about it. So right, and so this is a point where I mentioned get general information, right? Look up stuff about sports. Like there's a sport called lariat, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how it's played. I don't know the rules. I just know it exists. Okay, so you could yeah. So right, again, one reason why you are struggling with your development is you're trying to say everything based on your personal experiences, and clearly that's not working very well, right? So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Look up information, and then use that information to make something. You may make up your response. Again, you don't have to be factually accurate. The examiner is not going to check whether what you're saying is something that you actually did, right?
Yes. Okay, sir.
Okay, finally, some people say we never stop learning in life. Do you agree?
Yes, I definitely agree because each and every moment you are learning something valuable. From the time you wake up till the time you sleep, there are a lot of different things that you learn. There are so many things that we learn, but we don't even realize it. But when we come in such a situation that we have to use that information, we realize it there. So yeah.
Okay. Uh, does technology make learning easier? Why or why not?
It does make learning easier if it is used in correct way. There are a lot of people who use technology to cheat or to find shortcut, which basically doesn't really improve their knowledge. It makes everything very wrong and incorrect, and sometimes it even gives you misinformation. So yeah, technology helping us learning is having both advantages and disadvantages.
Okay, so I like how you talked about, technology being used the wrong way, right? And so, right, we could sort of rephrase that. We could say that, some students use technology to cheat or to find shortcuts, and it doesn't really help them grow. Instead of saying, it doesn't help with their knowledge, you could say that it doesn't help them grow and improve on their skills, right? And so that is a misuse of technology, right? uh, and right, if used properly, if used in the correct way, it would certainly help. So right, for example, searching the meaning of a word on Google, right, is easier than looking up in a physical dictionary, for example, right? Or to look up information or explanations, uh, searching them up on a search engine online, right? Or even using AI, for example, right? Although it can be inaccurate, but still, right? So it makes it has information more accessible, and it's more available, and it's faster, but right, so it has both the benefits and the drawbacks. Okay,
Yes.
so you see, I said exactly the same thing you did. I just made it sound longer.
Yeah.
Okay, why are the advantages of sorry what are the advantages of doing sport regularly?
The advantages of doing sport regularly are you're physically active. It helps. There are some sports that actually help you grow your height, grow your grow you physically, give you more strength, make proper blood circulation when you're doing any sports. So this is it.
So again,
I don't know. I
read up,
seriously
right?
don't know.
See, I can respond to this for a number of reasons, right? So first of all, general reading and general information. Secondly, experience. Third, I teach biology, right? So I know,
Oh,
right? And so, what are the advantages doing sport regularly? Overall, let's say being physically fit, but that would include increased muscle strength, increased endurance, agility, better blood flow and circulation, stronger heart muscles, so your blood pressure and your pulse are very much maintained and healthy. They take care of, excess nutrition that's stored in the form of fat. And so, right, you maintain a healthy BMI, better blood circulation to the brain, helps improve memory and your overall thinking capacity and overall function. It also improves sleep, right? So if you're having, so could you mute? Aina, could you mute?
oh, I'm sorry.
Right. And so, right, better blood circulation to the brain helps you overall when you're awake and even when you're going to sleep, right? So it helps you having healthy sleep, and it has a very good psychological effect. So it helps counter conditions of anxiety and depression as well, right? Because of all the other neurochemicals that are released when you uh, are physically active, right? So endorphins and stuff like that. Yeah, obviously. Right. So if you, right, again, read, right? Okay, last question. Do you think students should be able to choose the subjects they study at school?
Yes, this should be because if a student doesn't have any interest in the subject that they have to study, then overall they will not get good marks, they will not have a good report card. And if a student gets to pick what they want to study, this will actually makes them excited or happy to study. Oh, excited or happy to study. Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So that was for my response. I don't know anything else.
You don't know anything else, huh?
I don't know how to complete the response. I don't know how to elaborate it.
You're really struggling today in particular. I mean, it wasn't like this in your earlier attempts for some reason, right?
I don't know.
Okay, we leave it at that. Right? Obviously, there's a lot that can be said in response to this question, right? There are certain subjects that are helpful to you overall in ways that you might not think. So, for example, studying math and then doing algebra and trigonometry, right? I mean, in everyday life, I've probably never used the perfect square formula or Pythagoras' theorem, right? Probably. Well, actually, I have used Pythagoras' theorem in real life, so there you go, right? But normally people don't, and they don't use the perfect square formula and stuff like that. And so, right, but math is really good mental exercise, and it helps sharpen your skills and thinking. So, right, but then we can argue that there are other things that can be done to achieve the same effect, right? So why bother studying math in detail? And so, right, if good alternatives are available, then yes, students can be allowed or should be allowed to choose the subjects they want to study, right? For example, history. I'm not interested in history. Why do I need to know? You can argue about the benefits, but that, right, everything has benefits, everything has drawbacks. And so, right, just because a subject has benefits doesn't mean, right, I should be compelled to study it as a subject at school, right? More so because at the end of the day, I'm going to be tested and I'm going to be given a grade. So if I have a subject I'm not interested in, I'm not going to perform well, and that's going to reflect poorly on my results, in my results, sorry, on my result card or my report card. right? So if I'm allowed to choose the subjects of my interest, right, I may perform better, right? There's obviously the possibility I won't. So testing and interest are two different things, right? I may be interested in a subject, I may not do well on the test, but still there is an argument to be had. All right.
All
So
right, sir.
and you see, I didn't say anything much different from the very short response that you said. I just set it up.
Yeah, sir, that's the point. I can't
But
really.
no, you can stop telling yourself you can't. You can, right? And well, apart from the fact that you need to, you should try, and you'll be able to. Right. So there was this mantra that I used to, repeat when I was way back when I was a student, uh, and I used to tell myself, I have to, I can, and I will. Right. So tell yourself
Oh,
that you have to, you can, and you will.
okay, sir. Sure.
Right.
I will.
All right.
All right.
So see you guys next time. Afan, next time will you're feeling better, so inshallah, and so we'll have your speaking test.
Okay.
And also, have I assigned any?
Next Monday?
Yeah, have I assigned any written work?
No, sir, you told us to, but you didn't.
So I'll put that up on Google Classroom. I'll tell you when it's there, and so right, you can do that. And so next time I'll take a look at your submissions, and also Afan, it'll be your turn speaking. Okay,
Okay.
next week, inshallah. All right.
Okay.
Allah
Allah
Hafiz,
Hafiz.
sir.
Allah.